All right, cool. So yeah, I'm gonna start, and essentially what I was gonna be going over today is how you could rock your email campaigns using KWCommand. Um, if anybody starts to come in as I'm doing this, I'll probably just pause for a second to let them in. But otherwise, we are good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So typically what I'll do when I go into Command, I like to just quickly go over the settings menu. And under settings, this is important, especially for the email campaigns, is the marketing profile. So under the marketing profile here, I can edit the information. And when I'm putting together an email, the template will auto-populate some of my information, like my headshot, things like the details about myself, contact information, brokerage information. So I'd like to just show this first because I think this is going to be something that once you start doing emails, you'll probably want to have this as current and up to date as possible. So let's go back into settings real quickly as well, because there's one other thing here I want to make mention of, and that's going to be command email. So this is what I'm going to be doing all the email campaigns in when I'm doing this class. And basically, command email is the new, I guess you can call it like a platform that KW has developed to allow agents to send bulk emails. So I know like a common request for like the past year or so was having the ability to do email campaigns that doesn't require MailChimp. So now that they have that installed, it's a game changer. And another really great thing about it is that it's free and you have up to 5,000 emails per month, which is quite a lot. Now, it's typically connected by default. I've noticed with some agents, though, it doesn't appear to be connected, which you can go under Manage, and you'll notice here mine is connected. You can also change the reply to emails. One thing I will mention, though, is if you notice that it's saying that it's not connected, you may have to run through a Smart Plan Kelly guide, and that can be accessed from this link here. So typically, if you run into an error with the email, command email, you just have to go through this Kelly guide here. And if anybody needs that link, I'm going to actually post it into the chat. All right, cool. So I'm not going to go through this, but I just want to make everybody aware that if you're running into that issue, you can do this Kelly guide up here, and then that will typically fix that for you right away. All right, so let's go back to my dashboard here. And I'm going to be working primarily with campaigns, which is this applet here. So let's click on that. What's going to happen is it's going to bring me to this dashboard screen here for campaigns. And if you're not familiar with campaigns, this is basically an overview of things like the accounts that I have connected, quick posts. So that allows me to do things like create a quick Facebook post for my business page. They have some nice training modules as well. These are being posted through KW Connect. And on the top here, you'll see a different set of buttons: paid ads, emails, direct mail, social posts. And there's also a button here that says create a new campaign. Let's go ahead and click on that. But before we do, we're going to be working with emails. And this is basically like your email, kind of like your email backend page. So it lets you know like how many emails you sent, what type of email it was, in which case I can also preview this if I needed to. This gives you a little bit of expanded stats, which is great. So let's go ahead and let's get this started up. So to get started, we're going to click on create a new campaign. And I'm going to click on email. And we're just going to call this a test campaign. And today is the 7th. Ooh, not August, but October. We're going to choose a goal. Now, I don't believe this is going to affect anything just yet, but by selecting a goal, it's making the algorithm and AI a little bit smarter. Eventually, it'll probably be able to give you more recommendations. But for now, we're just going to call it advertise listing. All right, and then you have two options on the bottom here. You have command email, which is selected by default. And then you also have MailChimp. Again, if you had MailChimp already, you can still use that to send out your email campaigns. However, with the inclusion of command email, it kind of makes this obsolete, and you'll see why in a second. Let's go ahead and hit Setup Campaign. All right, so when you're setting up a campaign, you're going to be brought to a screen like this. It's basically an overview of different steps, and then you have an email preview on the right. So as I'm kind of building this out, you're going to notice the preview will appear here. So let's go down. So step 2, essentially allowing you to choose the account that the email is going to be going from, basically like your reply to email, as you can see. Now you do have the ability to select a recipient list, which you can use from one you've created. So like, let's say, for example, I'm going to send this to my Facebook ad leads. That's going to be the list that it's going to send to. Now, if I had no list in here, what I could do is I can go to create a list, and I can then select a tag, which I find to be the easiest way to do this. So if I have my contacts grouped by a specific tag, we're going to go ahead and just select all these. And you do have to do it by 100, so it doesn't let you select all just yet, but it does select at hundreds. So if it's a list of about 200 people, it's not a big deal. So I'm going to select all. We're going to hit Valley List. I'll hit confirm. And I was having an issue with this yesterday. I'm not sure why it does that. So I'm looking into that currently, but in any case, if I wanted to use this as my list, I would hit confirm. That would create the list, and I would then be able to select it from here. So I'm going to just use myself as the example. And what we're going to do now is we're going to create a open house flyer. We're going to create an open house email, and we're going to send that out here. So we're going to put open house this Sunday, something like that. Step 6 is choosing the content. So here's where I can choose a design. Unfortunately, right now, they don't have like a preview of the template. However, you do get like a little bit of a idea of what it's gonna be, like approachable, for sale, just listed, featured homes. They also have open house templates. Some of these are gonna be just kind of like different formatting. So you have like some like classic, there's one that's called modern as well. I actually do like the modern one, so I'm gonna use that here. So let's go ahead and select the modern one. You do have a name for this as well. So I'm just gonna call this open house template, and we'll just say it's 10/7. All right. So this is probably looking a little bit wonky to you. You're probably like, what exactly is all this stuff here? So if you're familiar with MailChimp, basically MailChimp, it has these widgets on the left, on the right, and in the middle, or the left-hand side, is going to be like a preview of the template as we're building it out. So right now, this here is actually going to be my logo. So I'm just going to give you a preview of what it looks like so far. So we didn't change anything just yet, but there's going to be some stuff that autofills. So you have the logo here. You'll also notice as I scroll down, my information also appears here. And so does my Market Center logos, information about my Market Center and myself. And then you also have a disclaimer at the bottom. So if we scroll back up, we can X out of this. So basically all I really need to change is like the middle pieces. So open house, we can leave that the same. Now for the text here, we can change that as well. Currently it doesn't let you double click to open it, but there is a little pencil, which we're gonna click on. And from there, we can just scroll here and we can change the information that appears. So we'll just put October 7, or whenever it is. I think it's the 10th this weekend. So we'll put 10th. And it's definitely not 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. That'll be a long open house. So we're just gonna put 1 p.m. and we'll do it till 4. Hit done. And you'll notice when I did that, it switched it on the template here. I just want to edit that because it looks like there's a little bit of a space or gap there. So delete that space. There we go. So as we're editing this, you're going to notice on the left, it's going to change the preview up a little bit. So now we're going down to the image section. And this is where I can switch out the image that would appear on the template. So in this case, I'm going to repeat the same process. We're going to hit replace. And you'll notice that I do have some images that I've uploaded. You could hypothetically look up a listing and pull the images in from the listing. I've been having some issues with that. Let me see if I can get into any of them here. Yeah, you notice that it's like a little bit wonky. I think my command needs to be refreshed. But basically here I would be able to pull in the images from the listing. Otherwise, you can still add your own. So you could drag and drop them from your computer. It'll work exactly the same. Now for here, I'm just going to pull in, we'll use this one as the example. And we're going to just hit replace and we'll hit done. There we go. So again, I'm just going to preview this and you'll see as I'm doing that, the preview is going to change as well. Looks good so far, so let's keep going. So here is where I can change the address. I'm just going to go ahead and change that. We'll just call it 123 Main Street. Main Street. And that's going to be in Fort Lee, NJ. 07024. Done. There we go. I do notice that it does create like an additional space here, so I'm just going to delete that space and there we go. All right, so same thing with the pricing. I'm just going to change that out as well. So it's going to be mostly kind of repeating the same step over and over until you finish the template out. And we'll just do that as well. There we go. We're going to do the one here for the bed and bathrooms. We'll leave that the same. We'll just delete that additional space. There we go. Then you have some defaulted kind of like a placeholder text there. That's where you can probably put something like a description in. And we'll just take that description and we'll put beautiful home located on a much street, Fort Lee, J, close to NYC transportation. And schools. All right, we'll hit done. So as I'm doing that, you'll see, again, it's going to keep changing it. This could be just another additional information here. Maybe this is going to be something like view the virtual tour below. Okay. And maybe I also want to kind of change this up a little bit. I'll make this bold just so it stands out a little bit more. There we go. And then I'll also center that. Let's just center this a little bit. There we go. Cool. So it's very much like a standard editor, as you saw. It was very simple for me to just change how the text is arranged and colored, in which case I can also change that as well. Quite a few options on here to change. Let's hit done. All right, so as I'm doing this, again, I can continuously preview it just to get an idea what it's going to look like. And I think it looks pretty good so far. You know, you can also preview it on a tablet or phone. Looking good so far. I do like this as well. Comes out looking pretty neat. Great, so let's go ahead and exit preview mode. Now here is a button. We have a button here that we can change. And here you'll notice you can link to a landing page, which essentially would pull from something on my website or a landing page I've created, which is great. So let's hypothetically, we'll pull one in. We'll use open house. Let's use this one. Cool. So then here, if I wanted to change any information, I can say here, I'm just gonna let somebody in. put view listing. I can say something like view virtual tour. Tour. Hit done. There we go. The other information on the bottom here, as you can see, is pretty much auto-filled. And if I go and preview this again, you're going to notice that it's going to be essentially filled with my information already. And that's pretty much it. Like, I think we're good to go with this template right now. I'm going to go ahead and just exit out of this, and we're going to hit save and exit. Okay. So there's one additional step that I need to do now, and that is just to send this. So basically I have my preview on the right-hand side. I've noticed with the preview specifically here, though, it doesn't have this information filled out. And that's something I've asked KWRI about, but it does appear on the email when it's sent. So in which case, what I can do now is I can either send a test email. You can also schedule this in advance. So this is awesome because if you're using a service like MailChimp, typically what you have to do is with MailChimp, you can also do the scheduling, but you wouldn't be able to do it for a full 5,000 contacts. So basically with MailChimp, there's some features that you have to pay for. If you go over a specific amount, you're not able to send out emails for a while. This is great. I mean, it's very simple to do. I can just say I want to send this out on Friday at 9 a.m. Imply date and time. We can hit schedule, and then that's good to go. This is going to go out on October 9th. You'll see it's been scheduled. Here's the scheduling. And we had just created a nice email for an open house this weekend. Additionally, if we do another campaign here and we do email, we'll do test campaign. Set up again. Same steps are involved if you're going to be doing a different type of email. So right now, if I wanted to just do myself again, and let's say I wanted to do an email just to kind of advertise a just sold. Basically, we can use one of these templates. Approachable is pretty good. I'll use that one for the example here. I don't actually know what they mean by approachable other than the template itself looks very much like a like super modern, I guess. I don't know how to really describe it. Design-wise, it looks very kind of eccentric, I suppose. You can see here it's like laid out kind of differently than other templates. So in this case, all this text can just be switched out. I can just say just sold. Go ahead and just hit done. That's going to switch it here. You can delete any of these elements too if you don't like them. You can totally do that. The images are going to be, ooh, looks like I got kicked out of my own design there. Let's go ahead and just refresh this. Hopefully it fixes that. That's weird. All right, let's try creating a new campaign. Set up. And we're just going to try that again. I think I'm going to use a different template though. Alternatively, you can also use templates you've created before. So like if I had a template here that I really like, for example, I want to use, I have a lot of open house ones here, I guess. Let's say I want to use this copy of Classic for Sale. So it's going to open up my for sale here. Again, it's going to have the information populated on here from me. And I do like the Classic too. It's just super clean looking. So like everything's laid out very cleanly. It looks great. Let's go ahead and edit this a little bit. So here, for sale, we can just change that. Let's go ahead and just change that 1 second. All right. Just sold. All right, looks good. Change this as well. So I'm really hoping that they also edit this so I can actually just double click on that and it'll open up right away. Right now you have to click on that little pencil icon and I can see that being something missed if you're doing this, but it's okay for now. All right. 7024. We're going to delete that little space there. Hit done. There we go. And we could put the pricing information. Hit done there as well. We did put some of the images in already. So basically here, if I wanted to change out those, I can hit replace and we can just kind of switch them out if we wanted to. We'll hit done. And this would just be some information. So if I didn't need that, there's also a little delete key here as well. So I can also delete that. This can also be something like a contact button. So if I wanted people to contact me directly, let's just say agent email. I haven't tried these merge tags here yet. So let me see if that will allow me to do anything. I think if they clicked on that, I can just say like, email me. Okay. Oops, let's see. Contact. All right, we'll use that for now. But if you saw what I did, I hit edit. I used a merge tag. I used my agent email. I'm going to test that out probably just to see if that works. But in any case, what I'm going to do is web address. And I'm going to take my website here. Contact page. And I'm just going to paste that in. There we go. Let me just, there you go, sorry. Let's hit done. All right, so now if they go into my page, and I am just letting people in as they come in. So pretty much done here. Basically, you'll see here, I edited a little bit of this. I removed that text and I had a contact button here that I just changed out slightly. Otherwise, as I said, all the information that appears in my marketing profile is going to appear in this section here. So I don't have to really edit anything, which is awesome. However, if I go back, I could edit these if I'd like. I wouldn't recommend it just because it's going to be something that's already there. It already auto-populates with your stuff, so you don't have to edit anything. Anybody have questions? Because this is pretty much, it's pretty straightforward. I do have this video being recorded, so I'm going to post it a little bit later today. But did anybody have questions around what I was doing?
I have one question, Chris. It's Natalie.
How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I've been playing around with this. I know it's very new. One of the issues that I've been encountering is two issues. The first was within what you are doing, the footer information. Like it'll say team logo is one of the required
Yeah,
fields, but it's not something I can actually like not make it not mandatory, like an optional. So you
yeah,
see the actual words team logo
yeah.
when you're
Typically,
finished. Yeah.
I think a way to kind of get around that, and I have to ask KWRI about that as well, because right now there really isn't a way, but I would have recommended under the connect settings here, the
Uh-huh.
marketing profile, I would just upload my Market Center logo here, or you
But
can
then
just
what
put like a
happens is
standard
it doubles
KW.
it. It does like, oh, a standard KW versus, because what happens is if you scroll, I think down, it'll show you like
Yeah,
that's
so you have
team
a,
logo, but yeah, so market center logo, it's kind of repetitive at the bottom because the left will have your market centered logo
yeah,
and then the right. So what I actually did in this, just because it needed something other than those words, I put in my LLC logo.
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I didn't know what else to do. So I realized that was kind of an issue. I didn't know if there was another way, if, you know, another enhancement was done. But
Yeah, that's something like I've been wondering about for a while too, because like even when I'm putting together something else, it always will populate a team logo there, even though I don't have one. Um,
right,
so like for me, I would just probably recommend putting just like a, like a default
a
KW
general,
logo there.
got it. Yeah.
That would probably fix that for now until they like have a way where it's not required to put in.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Because it's,
I have,
yeah, it pulls it from your marketing profile, and if it has like nothing there, it
yeah.
just has like that broken image
Yeah,
box.
it'll say like almost like market center logo here. And you're like,
Yeah,
okay, that's not gonna look good for people.
yeah,
Um, I have one other thing that came up recently, last week, early last week, where I was having a lot of difficulty. So creating the template is great, right? I'm saving it, everything looks good. I did the LLC logo in the meantime,
yeah,
but you had a great suggestion. Then when I go to the actual campaign, that's when it was unformatted. So I did a test email just to see how it would look for the recipient.
yeah.
And I literally saw all of those fields where it says agent name or agent email. And I don't know if anyone else has discovered that, but I definitely can't get around it right now. And I didn't know if you were even aware of it because it's just so new that I don't know
Was
who's
that
played around.
was that from a an email you sent as a test email?
Yes. So I sent a test email to myself because I added myself as a consumer in my database to test
Yeah,
how it would look. And so the template within the actual designs template is fine. Everything is formatted. But the
right.
minute that I do a test in the campaign, it loses all formatting.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I
That's
can
something I
email
can.
you a sample, but like how it looks as a recipient, it's literally not the template at all.
Right. Got it. Yeah, I'm gonna try to send one to myself, and I'm gonna look at it. I think it takes a little while to send, but um, after this class, I'll have a look. But in any case, I can bring that up on one of my regional calls because yeah, I
Oh,
do
good.
know like one time I sent a test to myself. It did come up like how you're explaining it, and I brought that up to KWRI like however long ago that this came out, probably like a few weeks ago. So they are aware of that. I'm sure it's something that they're going to fix, but I can definitely ask for some sort of update.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Cool. Um, awesome. Anybody have any other questions before I wrap this up? Cool. All right. So the last thing I just want to show real quickly, I always like to kind of plug our YouTube channel here, which is just Bergen County Partners right now. And if you haven't already subscribed, feel free to just give it a subscribe. And this is where I will post any of the live streams that we have going on. You'll notice that like Hal has some of his stuff as well. But like any of these classes that I do or Elise does, we post them in here. That way agents can go back and rewatch them. So like this class, for example, I'll have posted sometime later today. And if you had to rewatch this or if you came in a little bit later, you can watch it from the very beginning. So yeah, it's just Bergen County Partners. Give it a subscribe, and yeah, look out for that video on here later today. If nobody had any other questions, I'm gonna just wrap this up, and you can feel free to reach out to me via email. That's great, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Wednesday.
Thank you.
You got it. Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.